Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I am Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're finally going to do the seaweed. I'm so excited. So I'm just going to jump right in. I got some new water-soluble gel crayons. I'm going to try a few of them out. I don't know if I'm going to like them or not. I also have a few of my King Art crayons out that I really like. And then I also have just a couple of Gelatos that I'm going to use potentially. I just don't know if these, the new ones are going to be creamy enough. We'll see. I kind of tested them off on a piece of paper. We'll see. And then for the background, I'm actually going to be using those tempera paint sticks I've used before when I did that silly caterpillar. So I did that during one of my lives. Maybe I'll link that somewhere in the video. Anyways, I'm just going to jump right in. I've already drawn this, traced it, and then I've just got some different colors. I'm going to kind of go fun. I don't know, just completely different than what maybe would be in the sea, and I don't care. All right. Let's see here. I think I'm going to try to do a couple of colors, maybe on each one. Maybe I'll start with one of these on this one here, I think. And I'm gonna I do have paint brushes and some water off to the side because you can get these wet and use them with water as well. But I thought I might just try to use them first, just like with these, and then if I need to, those might be too close together, I can get some water and paintbrushes. But I want to just lay down some color first. The reason I'm doing the drawing first is because these crayons I want to kind of mush around. So if I get outside of the lines, that's not as big of a deal. And I may end up bringing back in the dots because that's going to be way too much, I think, to go around with the tempera paint sticks, because you can't, those aren't mushy. Like you can't really blend those together. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I do have a paintbrush here. Let me just kind of see what I think. And I do have my paper kind of taped down here at the bottom just to help it from maybe doing any buckling. And we're just testing these out. These are, again, these I've used them a few times in this capacity. Different drawing, maybe different paper. So we'll see if I like them. Plus I am using a little bit of a different crayon with those new ones, and I may not like those. So we're gonna see. Once the paper's wet, it is really nice for the crayons. They kind of glide on really nicely, which is good. A little hot pink there, maybe. And then let's see if I like that a little better. The last video I actually posted was this adorable fish, and I used Neocolor 2, which are water soluble crayons. These are more of like I think they're called gel sticks, so they're a little bit different. I just want them to look smooth. So I think I'm going to leave that alone for now. I can always come back because you can layer those once they dry. Let's see here. It's a little rougher. I don't know if you can kind of see that. I want this to be a little smoother. So we'll kind of play with it and see what happens. Kind of switch around where I put the different colors. The gelatos, I don't feel like move around as much as the gel sticks, but the gelatos are really good when you're using them over like acrylic paints. But if we can layer them, that's nice. If they can, oh, that's actually nice when you go over the whole thing. That blends them really nicely. I like it. I don't know if anybody caught my live yesterday, but I had fun working on the food for Jubilee's Enchanted garden party. So if you haven't checked that out, you'll have to jump over there as well and check that out. That was fun. It was just me. I didn't really have anybody tune in during the live, and that's okay. I just like to create. So whether it's just me or other people show up, it's okay. Different color here. Maybe I'll try a little bit of purple in here. I do like how these layer. That's nice. It's like butter, I guess that's why. I mean, they are creamy is what they call them. So purple in that one. One thing that's hard to do, which is why I kind of put liners down already. You can't really use like a liner after you put the gel stick down because it doesn't like it. So you kind of have to outline ahead of time, or using like a thicker Posca marker might be okay. We might end up trying that to add back in some different details, or maybe I'll just try something different. I don't know. We are just going with the flow today. Finally getting this little doodle painted. It's technically from June's theme, the Moontide Magic, but that's all right. That's the beauty of a sketchbook. You just come back to it when you can. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing it this way first, so I can kind of not have to worry about if I get a little bit outside the lines. Want to keep it kind of stress-free, if you will. Maybe I'll try this pink. Maybe I'll try to color the whole thing in and then bring in another color. Like I said, we're just trying this out. I definitely like how they layer over each other because it fills in the little white of the paper. So I do like that. I want to be a little careful up here so I don't go into this side over here. That's one of the things that I've always said when it comes to these types of art supply is it's hard because you can't get into any little crevices and things. So I usually only use these if it's a larger picture. Yeah, I may end up coming back in with this darker color. It doesn't seem to be laying down quite as well for some reason. And maybe it's getting a little dried out or something.
I've always admired those who just do it and they conquered their fears. They fall back down and they keep getting up and they try to steer clear. I'm afraid, I'll admit.
If you don't know, I do have this drawing available for anyone. I believe it's for anyone on my Patreon. You have to be like subscribed to my Patreon, but you don't have to be a paid Patreon. You can just follow me without, you don't have to be paying for it, which could be fun. I wonder, I might try, let me get this, what you can sometimes, actually, let me try this. Might color on here and then try to pick it up with the water. See how that goes, and then bring it over to this leaf just to see if, or not leaf, well, whatever it is. See if I can get some of that color down a little smoother that way. Because when you get them wet, especially in this way, it almost turns into like a watercolor, which is actually pretty cool. These are not light fast, I don't believe. So they wouldn't be considered a fine art product, if you will. So if you had them in like direct sunlight, they would fade over time. But this isn't a sketchbook, so I'm not worried about that at all, actually. I'm gonna try to pick up a little bit more of that. This one looks a little funky. What did I, oh, here's the lid. It's like, what did I do with the lid? I do like how vibrant they are. That's pretty cool. A little bit of that off. Get just a little bit more water, and then I'm going to go from the bottom here up so that I can keep the darkest color up here at the top. Kind of trying to stick to the pinks on this one. I don't know how I feel about these just on their own, but I do think they're layering pretty decent.
But if I'm stuck in my mind, I'm not great, neither rich, but will you stay here by my side?
Again, I'm not sure the Gelatos and the King Art play super nice with each other, because I mean, the Gelatos are a water-soluble crayon. I don't know if I would consider them 100% like a gel crayon, maybe like the other ones that I'm using, but they're not too bad together. I feel like they're not layering as nicely as if I just stick with the more jelly type. Jelly gel. feel like this one got really dark. So I'm going to take the paintbrush, maybe try and pick some of that up, try to blend it down a little bit more so it's not so drastic. And then I can bring that lighter pink back in to kind of brighten that back up. So this is an interesting, they're interesting for sure to use in this capacity. I feel like the Caran d'Ache water soluble crayons, the Neocolor 2s, were a lot easier when I was using them for the fish. I'm going to leave those alone for right now and then move over here, and then I'll pop back over and do this one. And then I might come back in and do a little bit more layers. But I'll kind of let those kind of sit and see what happens. And then I'm excited for these. I love these colors together, these like turquoisey blues with a little bit of green, I think. This is fun because it's just kind of freeing. You can just, you know, slap them on here and then get to play, which is kind of fun. I'm not really purposely trying to go outside the lines, but I'm not stressing about it if I do. This one's a metallic, so I want to be kind of careful with it. Like, I don't want to use too much of it. But I think it works the best, it seems like, when you go back over all of the colors together and kind of try to blend them that way.
All the good times turn into memories and the revelry.
Maybe I could bring in a tiny bit of green just to play with it. That's kind of cool.
Best days can't be done. All the good times turn into memories.
And you can just use the paintbrush to just kind of fill in right along the edges if you can't get to those very easily. Kind of just flick your brush kind of in here. So I can kind of blend that green a little bit so it's not so like concentrated. And that's actually really pretty. If you can see that a little better. That's kind of nice. I kind of like that. I would love to know in the comments, I've asked this before, if you prefer real-time videos, even if I put music, if I'm just kind of being repetitive, I don't always continue talking, or if you prefer sped up portions with music. I would love to get some feedback on that. I liked bringing that green in a little bit. That was kind of neat. Could just kind of be loose with it. Yeah, these are fun.
Looking back, I was once
Because these areas are smaller, I'm actually considering bringing in watercolor instead. Just to make it go a little bit quicker, maybe. And maybe like just get a little bit of a different look. I have just a couple of watercolor sets over here right next to me. This one has some colors that I've already used, so I think I might just do that real quick.
Do you remember? I told you if we dance in the blizzard, we are not getting cold. So keep on dancing, baby. Dance, 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 yeah. Dance, yeah. Baby. Dance, 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 yeah. Dance, yeah. Baby. We fall apart, piece by piece. That's how the little things get huge. Just keep on moving through the beat. Don't let them get the best of you. When you are under the weather, getting caught in the storm. Do you remember? I told you if we dance in the blizzard, we are not getting cold. So keep on dancing, baby. Dance, 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 baby. Dance, 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 all the right words pours from your mouth, holding me tight, saying I'm all yours. But I feel in my gut, it doesn't feel right. I see in your eyes, tell me no lie, 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 lie. Tell me no lies, tell me no lie, 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 lie. Tell me no lies, tell me no lie, 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 lie. Tell me no lies, tell me no lie, 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 lie. Let's talk about your ex. Let's talk about your ex. Baby, I'm in 100%. We've been a year, but you struggle to keep pace.
I've been using watercolors as well as the gel crayons, sometimes both in the same, it's like a pebble or whatever. It's working pretty decent. Again, this paper, it's not 100% great for watercolors, but I don't mind it so much. Since I wasn't really able to get a very good blend up here in the purple flower, I'm actually going to go ahead and bring in some watercolors. I thought I'd bring you along with me while I did that. You do have to I have to work them into each other because of the gel crayons. So I'm kind of have to reactivate that and then try to incorporate the watercolor a little bit.
So one thing I would probably do differently next time is change the order I used my supplies. I think I would start with a layer of watercolor first and then bring in the gel crayons afterward. I've actually had success using gel crayons over watercolors in previous pieces, but the reason I created this page in the first place was to try something new. Every experiment teaches us something, even if it's simply what we would do differently next time. That's all part of the creative journey, so don't be afraid to play and see what works for you.
Done everything right. My heart is a mess. Now you need to talk. Tell me no lie, 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 lie. Tell me no lies. Tell me no lie, 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 lie. Tell me no lies. Tell me no lie, 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 lie. Tell me no lies. Tell me no lie, 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 lie. Let's talk about your ex.
So right now I am laying down the first layer of the tempera paint sticks. I'm starting with a light blue and then I'm going to move to a metallic dark blue after I cover this surface. Here I'm just taking a clean damp brush and I'm just kind of scrubbing some of the areas where I went outside of the lines whenever I was coloring in the seaweed. So because the tempera paint sticks are pretty chunky, I couldn't get as close to the seaweed as I wanted. One option would have been to use masking fluid just inside the outlines before adding the background, but I knew that would add a little extra time with the application and drying process. Instead, I decided to try using a damp brush to pull paint directly from the stick so I could work right up against the outline. Well, I thought I'd spare you the trial and error because, newsflash, it didn't work. The paint sticks are much drier than I expected, so I just couldn't pick up enough paint with the brush to make it worthwhile. In the end, I grabbed a watercolor in a similar shade, and that worked much better for getting into those little spaces around the seaweed.
This is what I do with as a mixed media artist. I throw stuff at it until I like what happens, and then I move on. If I don't like what's happening, I'm like, well, what else can I try? So that's exactly what I am going to do. And again, it's going to be a little bit different, but I think they'll be close enough. And I also think it's okay if it's, a little bit darker in some areas anyway. So they're not all just the same throughout the entire drawing, painting, artwork, however you want to say it. It's not working too badly, actually. A little bit of a larger brush, though. The tempera paint sticks don't really activate all that well, so they're not moving really too much when I'm adding the watercolor, which is good, but they almost repel the watercolors as I'm bringing those in. So I don't know, like I said, I don't think I would use them in this application in the future. But that's the beauty of a sketchbook. If you've been here for the last few months, when I started the sketchbook guild, that was the whole point, was to build a sketchbook practice and try different things that maybe I wouldn't normally try and not be freaking out because I'm using a piece of paper that's more expensive, or it's like I'm learning like, hey, let me see if I like this, how it works out. And then it's like, if I really like it, then I can recreate it, using a different method, or even if I like the same method, but draw it again and then paint it again or whatever. But I'm working all the kinks out in my sketchbook, and that's been really eye-opening. So I definitely invite you to begin a practice if you haven't already, assuming you're here as an artist yourself and not just hanging out. And if you are, I love that too, and I'm so glad that you're here. Whatever brings you, I appreciate you being here. This got really streaky. I don't like it. So I'm trying to avoid doing that down here. So I don't want to really go into the tempera crayon area too much. So I'm trying a little bit of a different method where I'm laying the watercolor down just right up against the drawing where I need some color. And then I'm rinsing my brush out, dabbing it off, and then just going right along the edge of it, kind of like I would in just a regular painting to kind of diffuse. But I don't want to disturb the tempera paint stick too much. Like I said, it doesn't move too much, but it moves enough, I feel like, that I just don't want it to be getting all streaky. So I wanted to try something since I knew I wouldn't be able to get the metallic tempera paint stick into the little areas that I just had to do with the watercolor. But I have a metallic gelato. And for this, I can color it and I can activate it a lot easier and better than I can this. So I think I'm going to try this in some of the smaller areas and then go in with the tempera metallic paint stick. That's my plan. Let's see how it goes. It behaves a little bit better because it is the same, kind of the same idea as the tempera paint sticks. Not exactly, obviously. I feel like the gelatos are like between the two. They're between the gel crayons and the tempera paint sticks. That's kind of what I think. I could be completely delusional. Don't don't discount that. But it seems like that's just kind of the way it seems like to me. So you can try it and be the judge for yourself. You could let me know in the comments if you think I've lost my mind.
Tell me, are you really over her? Or am I gonna be the very next? I can feel your heart race to her name. I can take a lie, but I can take the rain. Let's talk about your ex. Let's talk about your ex.
Okay, now I'm going to go in with the metallic. I'm hoping layering them is going to give better coverage. That's my goal and my hope. It looks like it is for the most part. I could see that maybe, I'm trying to see if it's actually metallic. I think it is. It's kind of hard to tell. I think you can see a little bit of a shimmer there. I may have to bring a brush in if it really, like there's some little bitty kind of white areas I might have to go back into. But again, it doesn't have to be that serious. If you've been here before, you know, everything goes a lot longer than I mean for it to. Oh my goodness. I think it's just because I want to do a good job and I want to, try to end with a drawing or a painting or a sketch or whatever that I'm happy with and that I like. So you guys can see, as a mixed media artist, kind of what I throw at everything to create something that I really like. Easier said than done, though, sometimes. It's definitely better when you layer them.
Throw your stuff away. Don't hesitate. Don't be scared. New ways will appear in front of you.
That's pretty cool, actually. Again, I don't think it's perfect. Not sure if you can see. I don't even know if I see a little bit of metallic, but not what I was really hoping for. I can actually see a little bit of metallic in these from this that I used. So maybe I'll go back over it again. I might record just a tiny bit of that, but I don't want to sit here wasting everybody's time watching me go over. Oh, I have to see if I have a different color. This one. Oh yeah, that's not the color I wanted. Although I don't mind having a little bit of a mixture of colors, actually. These you can kind of mush a little bit, which is kind of nice. Mush, I always say, that is a very technical term.
New wealth too. I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop. Try to tame a hurricane.
Let's see if we can see that now. Oh yeah, see that shimmer and shine. That's what I was looking for. So I'm going to finish that really quick off camera because like I said, you don't need to watch me doing all of that. I'm going to just be doing the same steps and then I will come back and we'll kind of start finishing it up.
Now I'm going to add some shadows beneath the pebbles. This helps anchor them so they don't look like they're floating. I'm using a dark blue gel crayon to create the shadows, but first I'm using a dark navy color pencil to get right up against the edges of the pebbles. Since the gel crayons are so creamy and waxy, the color pencil really only works along the outline where I only used the watercolors to fill in the little spaces. And I am having to wipe off any of the gelato that I pick up while coloring.
Wish you didn't feel alive, but if you try to embrace rather than push away, you will find this place.
to use these for the shading because it's nice. It kind of softens farther out from the little pebbles. I think overall, I'm going to end up liking this drawing. It always comes together, and you can add some highlights and some depth. Most artists know that you kind of go through an ugly phase of in your art until you get kind of to the finishing touches, and then that's when everything kind of comes together. I grabbed some markers. I just want to put some details, some texture, so they're not so flat. It's not perfect, and it kind of depends on how much of the gel crayon is on. It seems like it's not too bad though. It does pick up some of the paint or some of the crayon.
Coming closer, it's okay. You're taught the opposite. Let's rewire.
I did try to put some shadows in already with the paint, but I like to kind of add a little bit of a splash of marker for the texture. Also use it to decorate a little bit. Remember, always shake your acrylic markers with the lid on so you don't shoot paint out. Like I said, I don't know that it's a perfect application by any means, but it's fun, and it is kind of whimsical, and it's pretty, it's vibrant, which is kind of nice.
I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop. Try to tame a hurricane. Wish you didn't feel alive, but if you try to embrace rather than push away, you will find this place getting better day by day. Oh, listen to the words I say. You can take a day, but
Now I'm using a white Posca marker to fill in the bubbles, and then I'm also going to use them to add a few highlights throughout the drawing. One thing I did notice is that I had to keep cleaning the marker nib because it would pick up a little of the gel crayon residue as I worked. Off camera, I also switched to an inexpensive paintbrush and some white acrylic gesso to fill in the larger bubbles. It gave me much better coverage over the metallic gelatos in the background, and I didn't have to keep wiping off the Posca marker nib every few seconds. Insert eye roll with a smirk. If you're not familiar with gesso, it's a paint-like primer that's commonly used to prepare surfaces before painting, but I like using it as a painting medium because it's a little thicker than acrylic paint. It layers really well over a variety of surfaces, and I really love how vibrant the white is. The bubbles could have been any color, but I chose white because I love the contrast against the blues and greens. I think it really brings the whole piece together.
day. Listen to the words I say. I know it's a bad day, catching every teardrop.
I did want to mention that I did bring in some of the colored Posca markers to put the highlight in the bubbles, but I did not like it at all. So I'm not even showing it in the video. I go back in and make them white. So I like that much better. Also, I do go back in with a black Posca marker to kind of define some of the lines that I lost a little bit with the different layers that I did. I don't outline everything again, but I do outline quite a few things, especially the seaweed. So I just wanted to let you know, and I do most of that off camera as well. I know this was a longer journey with all the layers, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. Adding the white highlights was definitely the most challenging part because I had to keep cleaning the Posca marker nib. Even so, I do think all those little details were worth it in the end. One of my favorite things about this piece is how vibrant it feels, especially the smooth, creamy finish on the seaweed. That is one of the things I love most about gel crayons. They blend so beautifully and create such a soft look. I'm really glad I experimented with both the gel crayons and the tempera paint sticks. in this application because I learned a lot along the way. Sometimes trying something new teaches you just as much as getting it right the first time. If you watched all the way to the end, leave me a little crescent moon in the comments so I know you made it. I'd also love to hear if you've ever used gel crayons before and what you enjoy or maybe don't enjoy about working with them. If you'd like to create this seaweed page for yourself, you'll find it over on Patreon, and the link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like your artwork included in our final tea table display, don't forget to send me your favorite sweet treat drawing before the live. And before I go, I wanted to let you know that Jubilee's Enchanted Garden Tea Party Live has moved to this Friday. Since we'll also be celebrating Lughnasadh, the first harvest festival on the Wheel of the Year, I thought it would be fun to celebrate the season by sharing a simple harvest-inspired tea recipe and a little seasonal gratitude ritual while we create together. Thank you so much for spending, I'd say a little, but a lot of creative time with me today. And until next time, stay luminous and keep creating magic.